misunderstood concept of something that we do encourage parents who are new to homeschooling. They've removed their child from school, or they've well, actually, it really does apply mainly to families whose kids have been in school for a period and have now come home. But we've called it deschooling in the homeschooling community for many years. And it simply is taking time to, we chatted in a previous video about getting the school out of us. And it gives us time to calibrate our thinking to what homeschooling is, and help our children understand what it's going to look like. So you've now, let's put the scenario before you. You've advised a parent, they've taken their child out of school, and they've done that maybe mid-year. What is your first advice to that new homeschooling family? Because I know their first question is, what curriculum must I use?
Yeah.
But actually, we're dealing with that much later in our Homeschooling 101 series. What's your advice to
so buying a curriculum is one of the last things you do before you formally start home educating. So deschooling can be compared to detoxing. And it's especially important if a child has been taken out of school because of some negative experience. They've maybe struggled academically, or they've been bullied, or they've been labeled because of learning challenges, or they've suffered anxiety or depression. For the normal family, it's important, but for somebody who's had a negative school experience, that detox is so important. And so what it is we recommend doing no formal academics for a season. And some people say a good rule of thumb to go by is to take off 1 month for every year that the child has been in school. So if they're in grade 3, you're going to take off 3 months. That's a whole term. Okay, when you get to the high school years, you might be scared about taking off 9 months to a whole year. So you be the judge of how long you think your child needs, but at least 3 months. And what do you do in that time? So we're not saying no learning is going to happen, but you're not going to do anything that looks remotely like school, like put a maths book in front of them or a writing book in front of them or anything stressful. What you want to do is give them time just to relax and to, enjoy the flexibility of being able to sleep late, to wear whatever clothes they like, to hopefully start reading books and start finding hobbies and things to do that will keep them busy and develop new skills and develop their confidence. Because often if children have had a bad experience in school, their self-confidence has really taken a knock. And that sometimes they even think they're dumb and they think they can't learn. And so they actually just need time to realize that when they're in their own space, doing things their own way, they actually can learn, especially when you restart the formal lessons. But why don't you suggest some of the activities that people can do during this deschooling timeframe?
Yeah, so I always advise parents that that it's important for you to get your systems in place. Get your kids doing the chores. They're now not rushing off to school and coming home and doing hours of homework. So they are now part of the family team. So you want to help them get the skills that they need so that they can make breakfast or lunch or supper for the family. Get them involved in cleaning their own space and doing their own laundry and getting that on the line and folded back in their cupboards. You can start a family project, whether you want to start growing some veggies or paint a few rooms. You might even use that time to set up a schoolroom if that is what you want to do. There are a lot of families who like to have a dedicated learning area. You can take that time to decorate it. Read aloud to your children. There are so many amazing book lists that you can find. The 1,000 Good Books list, even the Sunlight storybooks. Just get some library cards and start reading together. One of the other things which is fantastic is to get onto the mailing lists of your botanical gardens or your museums or your theaters around you so that you can see what's coming up, and you can go maybe to a planetarium or you can go and see Shakespeare. What you want to do is just offer your children a smorgasbord of things to introduce them and to yourself that learning happens all the time, every day, in different ways. What I will add to that, what it's not, is a child just loafing around on a couch all day in front of a TV screen or, playing computer games. There
Computer
might be,
games.
yeah, there might be a time for that. You might agree as a family, look, once all your chores are done and we've done some reading and you've cooked and whatever, you can have an hour at the computer. That's fine. But don't let
Cool.
that become the overriding vibe for your 3 months. What you're wanting to do is open up your children's thinking, show them the real world out there, take them grocery shopping. If you've got elderly parents, take them to the old age home so that they can engage and interact. Let life teach your children. And that shouldn't stop anyway after your 3 month deschooling. But it might just be a shorter time that you'd be able to do that, and you might need to squeeze in your groceries in between other things because they've got extramurals or whatever. But really focus on that in the first 3 months. Would you add anything else into that mix?
No, I think just to clarify what you said, you're also wanting to set up routines in your home. So,
Yes.
you don't have to have a bell ring to wake everyone up in the morning, but you just
Yes,
have
no.
routines in your family,
Yeah.
bedtimes, more, meal
Yeah.
times. And as you said, the chores are important.
Mm.
And yeah, and then just enjoy getting to know one another again. I remember having one mother telling me, she sent me an email and she said, this decision feels like a crossing the Rubicon decision. I'm going to take my child, he was in about grade 8, out of high school because he's suffering from anxiety and depression. But she was terrified that she was going to mess up his education by doing that. And 3 months later, she emailed me back and she said, I can't believe the young man that he is blossoming
Oh,
into.
that's
He's
lovely.
spending time with his dogs. He's not depressed anymore. He's learning knife making skills with a man in the community who's mentoring him. He discovered his own interests and he had time to follow them. And
Lovely.
yeah, she just was so confirmed to her that she had made the right choice.
Mm.
And I really hope that that's what other homeschooling families experience, especially if they've had a negative experience in school. For some kids, they flourish in school and they do well and it's great. For others, it's a completely toxic environment.
Mm. Yeah, the one last thing I was just thinking of is that we've focused a lot on what the children need to be doing in this time. There is the other person, which is the parent. And in this time, you will start to do your thinking and your researching, your reading, your meeting with other homeschoolers, finding out what methodology you might want to employ in your homeschooling, maybe reading some homeschooling books and following some blogs and joining some Facebook groups and asking your questions there. But so that's your time to research and figure things out as well and have your mind renewed. So yeah, deschooling is definitely one of those segments that we need to take out.